Hello? Oh, finally it's working. I don't know why it wasn't working. Hey, Poison, how are you, buddy? I haven't seen you forever. How's life? How's your dad? How's school? Oh, no. Hope it's nothing serious, buddy. The hell? That's working. I got a fifth time in 2025? Oh, man, that sucks, dude. I know the pain, buddy. Like, I really do know the pain. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry to hear, though. How? So, yeah, I'm having breakfast. How have things gone? I haven't spoken to you in I think a few. Last time we really spoke was when I helped you in POET back months ago. What was that about? So I can ask for. You still enjoying it or not? And a bit of a rivals break because no content? Fair enough. Is your dad still kicking ass and taking names as a tank? Out for the summer, so ain't got much to do. So, you were talking about finishing up your video game, so I just plays like 5 hours a day. Wow, that's awesome, man. I'm happy you found something he enjoys. Yeah, that's the hope. Once I have a game finished by August. Best of luck with that, my friend. Not an easy road. Oh yeah, it's understandable. Of course, you want to take a break and focus on your studies. That's important. Move that. I think it's going to be better. First thing that Hawk noticed when he came to was the thorn band around his head. He could clearly feel the blood pumping in his ears, and with each pulse, a sharp stabbing pain would flare at his temples and behind his eyes. He shook his head, trying to clear his thoughts, but it felt as if he were dredging them through mud. Blinking, he tried to look around to put the scene in focus, but he found that it was as difficult as forming a coherent thought. It took him several moments to center himself, slowing his breath and looking inward to try and calm his heartbeat from pounding and making the pain even worse. The technique had been straightforward when training, but at this moment, he found it frustratingly difficult to achieve, as if he was grasping at smoke. Put some atmospheric music, I forgot. Where's my music? Oh, anyway, buddy. I wish you all the best, honestly. My music. Alright, this summer's gonna be a chill one. I got on a trip in July. I wish my family and the rest just doing my own thing. That's nice. Where are you guys going? Oh, for fuck's search for it. There you are. Mountain trip fishing, camping, s'mores, etc. Oh, that's amazing, man. I never had that. You're so fortunate. We've had trips to the sea. My parents would just, take me 3 a.m. in the morning, slap me in a car, and then I'd be falling asleep throughout the journey, and we go different places, but mostly sea. I do envy having gone camping at least once. I would have loved that. Never done it. I don't know how to do it at all. Entire main family? Holy moly, 35 people? That's a lot of people, dude. It's like a tribe in the woods, man. You're a small village. You're not a camping trip. Honestly, again, stuff's reset. Thank you, Microsoft. Hey, fucking updates from Microsoft. Changes things that shouldn't. Right, where's my mixer, please? Thank you. And I'd like for Brave. Go. Music. Where's my music? There you are. Oh, it's working. Ah, bastard. There you go. It's not like real camping, we're renting log cabins. Oh, fair enough. I mean, yeah. Makes sense. I know, luckily, since I'm the farthest away, I have to show up like my mum and dad are in charge of all the food and items. Woo! Wow. 35 people. That is not a small task. Not a small task at all. He shook his head, trying to clear his thoughts, but it felt as if he were dredging them through mud. Thinking, he tried to look around to put the scene in focus, but he found that as difficult as forming as coherent thought. It took him several moments to center himself, slowing his breath and looking inward to try and calm his heartbeat from pounding and making the pain even worse. The technique had been straightforward when training, but at this moment he found it frustratingly difficult to achieve, as if he were grasping at smoke. In time, he managed to gain some sense of calmness, and that in turn allowed him to put his focus back to his surroundings. He first noticed that his arms were above his head. He tried moving them and realized that they had been clasped in irons. The sound of the manacles clanking against the stone wall behind him, tingling, tightening of the metal, rough and sharp against his bare skin. He looked up to confirm this, but he still couldn't see. He also felt his right eye clogged up, as it was hard to open. As he moved his head around, concerned for his lack of eyesight, he also felt another pain throbbing on his forehead, not as sharp as the headache. He could taste the unmistakable metallic hint of blood in his mouth. He felt a tightening sensation going from the pain on the right side of his face down his chin. He must have had a nasty cut above his brow, although it seemed it had already stopped bleeding. Alright, but I'm gonna get some sleep. When school is over, I gotta show up tomorrow. Graduation. Oh man, have a good one. Have a lovely graduation, and have a wonderful time. If I don't catch you after, well, enjoy your holiday and your time with your parents. That's all. Through his trousers, he felt the cold, damp stonework underneath him. Suddenly, the thought struck him like a hammer on anvil. What had happened to his companions? The last thing he could remember was looking at his sister as the stonework has come crumbling down around him, feeling a sense of acceptance and hope that what he'd done was spare their lives. Just as the realization struck him, his heartbeat started rising once more, and so did the iron band of pain around his head. Blasted headache, he cursed himself. Even that came with an effort. Getting a grip on his breathing once more, he tried to look around where he lay. Hawk still couldn't see anything, and he panicked, worried that the damage the stonework had done had caused him to lose his sight. Whatever. He took some deeper breaths to steady himself once more. The old musky smell that had accompanied them through their journey in the underground was much stronger here. Then he realized that it wasn't his sight that was the problem. The room actually lay in pitch black darkness, save for a sliver of light that came from the what he assumed to be a door on his far right. With an effort he tried to access the power inside his mind, but he found it impossible, as he felt a complete emptiness behind his consciousness. The familiar feeling of the torrent of energy lying in wait was gone, and that made him more anxious than thinking he had gone blind. A second. Are you awake? Came a voice opposite to him. Hawk couldn't recognize it, but it sounded like an older man with a rasping tone. I am, he replied, and coughed as his throat had gone dry. Who are you, and where are we? He asked. He heard the sound of metal clanking opposite of him, and then the rustling of a stranger as he must have tried to stand up. My name is Ethan, friend. The voice, the voice said. As to where we are, I think we're in a prison of sorts. Have you seen two other people being brought in? Other people being brought in? Hawk asked, worrying. And in his heart, for his companions, he doesn't really know his companions. I just realized that he doesn't really know if and who was saved. So it would be a little bit pointless for us to tell them that. Give me a sec, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Have you seen any other people being brought in? Any other people being brought in? Hawk asked, worrying his heart for his companions. The last time he'd seen them, had also been close to the past in the ceiling. He'd hoped that they made it too. I think they're lying somewhere in this room. There are two lying somewhere in this room, the voice said once more with a stutter. Although if you are the first of the group to wake, are they okay? Did you manage to see them? He said with a relief and anxiety, fighting side by side in his gut. Who had survived crash? Did Helen manage to get out there? He thought. Himself. Hard to see much in the darkness, friend. I believe they were passed out as you were, with nasty gashes all over the bodies. You seem to have taken the worst of it, with that vicious cut on your head. Monsters get you. You remember how you got here. How had he gotten here? You haven't even thought of that. Wait, the monsters brought you here? Asked Hawk, realizing what the stranger meant. Aye, my mate and I were in the tunnels, hunting for food and supplies for the family. And all of a sudden, we got ambushed by something that came out of the water. I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought we'd be dead. But we were dragged back here. At least, I believe so. I haven't much memory of how I got here. Once I came to, my friend and I were locked in this here cell. I could tell that the man was terrified recounting the story. And then the thought struck him. Any chance is your mother's name Norma? Was a pause from the other side. Then with emphasis the voice. How do you know that? The tone sounded suspicious. Don't recall at all seeing you in the league or in the underground. Charles brought us through. You down here. I think he had a chat with your mother before we came here. She was worried that you disappeared. Another awkward pause lingered between them. Hawk couldn't tell if the man was distrustful of them or otherwise. Just swallowed. Anyone going through the same experience that had would be shaken, but somehow Hawk couldn't shake the feeling at the back of his mind that there was something odd about Ethan. He dismissed it after all. He too would be suspicious in the same circumstances. Alright, be right back. 1 second. Alright. How long have you been here for, asked Hawk? How do you know how long we've been here? And do you know for how long we've been in here as well? Hard to tell without any windows here. Days, weeks, it all just seems to clump up together. The splitting headache just wouldn't quit, no matter what. It was still hard to form coherent thoughts. He knew in his gut that they needed to get out of there. Did you see the captors here? Are there people keeping us in irons? He asked, thinking that the two types of monsters they had met were very unlikely to put them in a cell. He wondered if the monsters were working with someone else. Humans, perhaps? After all, the cult had been infiltrated. More people might have been recruited to their side. So have, replied Ethan. Men come and go quietly. They brought us water and barely any food. Never speak. Never caught a glimpse of their faces. Hawk tried to look around the room once more, but his eyesight could pierce through the darkness. It felt as heavy as the feeling he had gotten when looking down the tunnels before their fight. What happened to your friend? Is he still here with us? Another pause followed. Those things took him, the man said with a dry tone. Came in, they pulled him out of the prisons, and all I could hear from him were his screams. He screamed for hours. I cried, I tried to get myself free, but there was nothing I could do. I haven't seen him since. What Ethan had just told him put even more anxiety and made Hawk's stomach churn even faster. I have to get us out of here before the same happens to us, he thought. So, how did you get down here, friend? And who are you? Still haven't told me your name. Hawk was about to tell him his real name, but something in mind pierced through the fog of his thoughts. But for a second, and he remembered that they had been using fake names up until then. No, they hadn't been really using any fake names. He remembered the warning his companions had given him about trusting strangers. My name, Jacob. Lied. My companions and I were trying to join the league. as we come from outside our city and have been provided shelter, succor from within. Charles, we were making our way back from. We're making our way through the tunnels from the marina when all of a sudden we were ambushed by these monsters. By monsters that looked snakes. Last thing I remember was being attacked. And then I woke up here. Silence followed once more. Hawk couldn't help but feel awkward in the lie. Hoping that he hadn't said something that might have given their true nature and purpose away. Would so much dear think this headache. Thought to himself again. So he felt his throat dry. Thought perhaps, and his lips parched, cracked. He was so very thirsty. Speaking of thirsty, I am thirsty and I need to get some water. Be right back. Okay. I have to say, it's hard to believe you. Yep. If that is truly your name, said the voice. And hot stomach sank. Voices outside of this door. I heard voices outside of this door when you and lady and the man were brought in here. They said you were fugitive, wanted, wanted, that your capture was uh was very important to them. It's hard to believe. Did you truly come here for the league? Or was it because of something else? By instinct, Hawk took a pause to ponder the best line, trying to make his mind cooperate with him. At last, he winged it by saying, "Yes, true. We have been running away as my sister has and I have, yeah, as sister running away from a Hallmark Lord. Sister as what kind of concoction could I create here? Running away from Hallmark Lord. Taking safe passage to give me a sec. How is this? Oniris, my sister, and I are but poor fishermen, and she's attracted beauty of one of his. Her beauty has attracted attention, and her beauty has attracted attention of one of his sons. Bastard tried to force himself onto her. One night, Bastard tried to steal her, and I managed. I had to stab him to get her away safely. Since then, we've been wanted and pursued. Hallmark. He didn't know if the story was convincing enough, had he had time to think about it before and might have found a more suitable story. My name is truly Jacob. Hey, Lala. Really. Jacob. Voice said. To apologize for prying, but you must understand, I do not know you, or do I trust the people outside have said you are very dangerous. And and they'd be rewarded. Be greatly rewarded. Good. By having captured you. Yes. Paused. Then after some time it could continue. I guess it would make sense if you had hurt that useless an important man such as that. The reward, the Legion would look for you, and that the reward great. But how can a fisherman care? Warrant caution and be called very powerful. Alright, let's reread. A little bit. What happened to your friend? Is he still here with us? Another pause followed. Those things took him, the man said with a dry tone. Came in and pulled him out of the prison. All I could hear from him were screams. He screamed for hours. I cried. I tried to get myself free. There was nothing I could do. I haven't seen him since. Or heard him. Or seen or heard him since. That's the best way to do it. But Ethan I just told him made Hawk's stomach churn even faster. I have to get us out of here before the same happens to us, he thought. So how did you get down here, friend? And who are you? You still haven't told me your name. Hawk was about to tell him his real name, but something in his mind pierced through the fog his thoughts for a second, and he remembered the warning his companions had given him about trusting strangers. Name is Jacob, he lied. Companions and I were trying to join the League. As we come from outside of the city, I've been provided shelter and succor from Charles. By Charles. But we were making our way through the tunnels from the marina when all of a sudden we were ambushed by monsters that looked like snakes. The last thing I remembered was being attacked, and then I woke up here. Silence followed once more. Hawk couldn't help but feel awkward in the lie. Hawk couldn't help but feel awkward in the lie, hoping that he hadn't said something that might have given their true nature and purpose away. It would be so much easier to think without this headache, he thought to himself. He felt his throat dry as and his lips parched and cracking. He was so very thirsty. I have to say, it's hard to believe you, Jacob. That is truly your name, said the voice. Hawk's stomach sank. I heard voices outside of his store when you and the lady and the man were brought here. They said you were wanted, and that your capture was very important to them. Did you truly come here for the League, or was it because of something else? Hawk took a pause to ponder the best reply, trying to make his mind cooperate with him. At last, he winged it by saying, Yes, that's true. We've been running away from a Tolmark lord seeking safe passage to Aniris. My sister and I are but poor fishermen. Her beauty has attracted the unwanted attention of one of his sons. One night, the bastard tried to force himself onto her, and I had to stab him to get her away safely. Since then, we don't wanted on the run and wanted throughout Tolmark. He didn't know if the story was convincing enough. Had he had time to think about it beforehand, he might have found a more suitable story. My name is Jacob, truly. Said, trying to make his tone as friendly and as pained as he could, hoping the man would trust his lies. Jacob, the voice said. I do apologize for prying. But you must understand, I do not know you, nor do I trust you. People outside have said that you were very dangerous and that they'd be greatly rewarded by having captured you. He paused, and then after some time, he continued. I guess it would make sense if you had hurt an important man such as that the region will look for you, and that the reward would be great. But how can a fisherman warrant caution and be called very powerful? Um, hmm. So, what could we put here that would convince them? I need to move the scene along. I need to get past this. The man is trying to gain his trust and vice versa. And that is the hardest part. That is really the hardest part. Be right back. Okay, so um, so I guess we could change the scene to basically. The thing is, if Hawk is trying to change or move the attention to somewhere else, I'm trying to see the scene from both sides. So if I'm trying to gain somebody's trust, but this way, Ethan has kind of shown that look, I've been forthcoming, so he says, with you, and you've been lying to me, or I think you're lying to me, and therefore puts Hawk in a position where kind of feels like sorry that he's lied, or in a way like he owes something to the guy. Not really like he owes, but oh, I told you the truth. You're lying, right? So why would I believe you? Therefore, now I think if I move the scene towards Hawk trying to get out of here, and then after that, I could go for what his companions slowly rise up, come to senses, and that. Then the part of the one of the guards walking in, and the unnatural feeling that Hawk's getting from the guard. Well, yeah, I think we could take it that way. I don't think it's necessarily an exciting um chapter, but at least there's the this happens, but then that happens, then this happens, but then that happens kind of situation, right? So at the moment you have the waking up, being unconscious, waking up, finding yourself in a room, the whole feeling of I can't see, I'm in pain, I can't feel my powers, I have splitting headache, I can't think, okay, I'm tied up. Then guy discurs with Hawk, and then Hawk tries to tell a lie, so therefore, he's like, oh, he's gonna believe me. Nope, not gonna believe. Okay, so I think that the flow is still okay, but it's not a very exciting part necessarily. I think if I manage to make it a bit more atmospheric inside by descripting things, but it's very very hard because of the nature of the scene. They're in pitch black except for like a tiny sliver of light that is very far away, so they can't really use that light to see anything, and that actually plays to the advantage of Ethan. At least I think. So yeah, I think we could just do. See. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I do not know. I am somewhat strong, true, but no more than any other fisherman I've met. Hawk lied whilst twining truth in what he said. He knew fishermen to be extremely strong. independently of the size of their arms. Their size. Their size, thank you. After some time, the voice, the man, replied, "Hey, Tin. Hi, buddy. I think it's just kind of us at the moment. How are you, buddy? I don't think much of anybody. Uh, oh, I forgot to transfer one thing. That is my. Oh, tired. I understand. Sorry to hear, my friend. I am also tired. I don't know why I didn't sleep all that well. So I am sorry to hear there. Oh yeah, Twitch answer. That's bold. You go to bed too late. Is that why? Twitch and okay, so that should work now. Okay, it works. Cool. Late. Late. Okay, cool. How's the writing going? It's still going okay. I'm trying to districate myself through this scene. It's not necessarily the quickest of scenes to write, but yeah. Getting there, getting there. Yeah. So there's a man in a cell with three of the people that are part of the main group of our heroes, quote unquote, and they've been captured, and they're in the pitch darkness. And there's one of like two of the group are passed out. The main character is speaking to this other person who's called Ethan, and they're having a discourse, and yeah, like the problem at the moment is because I know like Ethan is lying because Ethan is not who he says he is, but the same thing goes for Hawk, who's the main character. So it's a tricky scene because I know a lot, but I need to make sure that it doesn't transpire too much through the paper. It's hard. I was playing Diablo with Missy until 2 a.m. 6:30. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. You're wide awake. Hey, Hood. Oh, my friend. Yeah, I try. 11:58 here though, so it's not too late. Early. 11:58 in the morning. After some time. Hmm. The man paused once more. Oh, hope to convince Ethan. Only because didn't want to be caught in a lie, but also because he needed a man on his side if they were to try and escape the cell. Alright, and I apologize for not believing you, friend. And said, finally, sad and not cold, free and hot. But I just didn't want how about we say here? Alright then, apologize for not believing you, friend. Finally said. I just wanted to make sure I could trust you. With a sigh of relief, Hawk, trying to look around the room once more. Can't you see anything from your side? Yes, Ethan. It was hard to tell how wide the room was, as the sound carried differently in such space, and the darkness didn't let it. That darkness didn't allow for his eyes to see even a slither, yeah, even a bit of his surroundings. Again, he wondered if he hadn't hurt, damaged his eyesight somehow, as even in night dimension, he able still see things bit in the dark, so long as his eyes adapted to it. So he had never been in a room without any light. So he hoped that it was just the complete lack of luminosity. Lack of was the room that made it impossible for him to see. Wow, this doesn't sound so great, does it? Let's reread the past one. Silence followed once more. Hawk couldn't help but feel awkward in the lie, hoping that he hadn't said something that might have given their true nature and purpose away. It'd be so much easier to think without this headache, he thought to himself. He felt his throat dry and his lips parched and cracking. He was so very thirsty. I have to say, it's hard to believe you, Jacob, if that is truly your name, said the voice. Knock's stomach sank. Our voices outside of this door when you, the lady, and the man were brought in here. It said you were wanted, that your capture was very important to them. Did you really come here for the League, or was it because of something else? Hawk took a pause to ponder the best reply, trying to make his mind cooperate with him. At last, he winged it by saying, "Yes, that's true. We've been running away from a Talmud lord, taking south passage to Oniris. My sister and I are but poor fishermen, and her beauty has attracted the unwanted attention of one of his sons. One night the bastard tried to force himself onto her, and I had to stab him to get her away safely. Since then, we've been on the run and wanted throughout Talmud." He didn't know if the story was convincing enough. He had had time to think about it beforehand. He might have found a more suitable story. My name is Jacob, truly, Hawk lied, trying to make his tone as friendly and as pained as he could, hoping the man would trust him. Jacob, the voice asked. I do apologize for prying, but you must understand I do not know you, nor do I trust you. People outside have said that you are very dangerous and that they'd be greatly rewarded by having captured you. He paused, and then after some time he continued. I guess it would make sense if you had hurt an important man such as that the region would look for you. The reward would be great. But how can a fisherman warrant caution and be called very powerful? I do not know. I am somewhat strong, true, but no more than any other fisherman I've met. Hawk lied, enclosing truth in his words. Entwining. Entwine. I don't want to close. Entwining. He knew fishermen to be extremely strong, regardless of their size. The man posed once more. Hawk hoped to convince Ethan, not only because he didn't want to be caught in a lie, but also because he needed a man on his side if they were to try and escape the cell. All right, then. I apologize for not believing you, friend, he finally said, and I'm not full free in his Hawk's gut. I just wanted to make sure I could trust you. With a sigh of relief, Hawk tried to look around the room once more. Can you see anything from his side? He asked Ethan. It was hard to tell how wide the room was, as the sound carried differently in such a place, and the darkness didn't allow his eyes to see even a bit of his surroundings. Again, he wondered if he hadn't damaged his eyesight somehow, as even in the nights at the mansion, he was still able to see things a bit, things in the dark, so long as his eyes adapted to it. Still, he had never been in a room without any source of light, so he hoped that it was just a room that made it impossible for him to see. Hey, Blessy, how are ya? How's your morning been? How are things there? Must be such an odd predicament. You now have a solicitor? Oh, is that appointed by yourself, or how does it work? Is it the state? Weird. I asked for it by yourself. Okay. I mean, it makes sense. You're not really in jail, and even in jail, you're provided with representation. So good. So at least they can mediate and help. Ooh. Excuse me. Rather jail? Don't know about that. I'm so tired today. So how are things there? Hey, hey, hey. How's the morning? What do you guys do? Can't go into details. This situation is dire. Oh shit. That's not good. I thought places such as those were meant to help people rather than make them feel worse. Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear. You managed to charge your phone a little bit. All right. So what does the morning entail then when you're there? What do you have to do or not do? 26%. And I can't really keep it, can you? Because, yeah, the cable and everything. Uh, alright, I'll be right back, alright? I just need to pop in a toilet a second. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Longer than I intended. I'll pause to. All right. Okay. All right. So, all right. Then I apologize for not believing you, friend. I finally said. Ethan finally said, I don't know that that's the way. And I'm not pulled free in Hawk's gut. I just wanted to make sure I could trust you. The sigh of relief, Hawk tried to look around the room once more. Can you see anything from your side? Asked Ethan. It's hard to tell how wide the room was, as the sun carried differently in such a space, and the darkness didn't allow his eyes to see even a bit of his surroundings. Again, he wondered if he hadn't damaged his eyesight somehow, as even in the nicer dimension he could still see things in the dark so long as his eyes adapted to it. Still, he had never been in a room without any light source, so he hoped it was just a room that made it impossible to see. He also realized how dependent he had become at holding the power in such a situation. It felt to him the lack of uh, his heightened senses made him feel as if he were missing a limb. But on. No, I can't see at all. But I know that the room is quite wide. When the guards drink as food, you'll be able to see it. Did you notice anything else in this room? Anything at all that we could use to escape? Hawk asked. As he tried to pull on his manacles. AA. To test his strength against them. Without power, it felt it might have been easier for him to break his wrists and actually affecting and breaking free all of them. I can't see it all, but I know the room is quite wide. When the guards come to bring us food, you'll be able to see it too. Did you notice anything else in this room that we could use to escape? Opposing his power might as well have been easier for him to break his wrist and actually break free of them. Not much is here. There is a grate. One of the corners. I think it's used as a sluice. But other than the plates and cups we're given, and ourselves, there isn't anything else in this room. I tell you, the worst of it is the darkness. Not being able to tell the day, the hour. At least now I have some company once more. Man began to sob. Basically, they're in solitary confinement. How are we supposed to eat or drink if we can't loosen our arms? Talk. Oh, I've only got my legs tied. Clamped. Clamped. Fast. In irons. But you, I believe they really don't want you to get free. I don't know if how you'll eat. I don't think they're like the spoon feed you. At least you know they want to keep you alive. Panic deep into man's voice once more. Going to be okay, Ethan. Oh, said, trying to reassure man. They'll get us at Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought that was muted. Cool. Maybe that's been muted all along. Okay, cool. So let's reread a little bit of this. How much have we written today so far. Do, 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 do. All right. Here we are. So that's 986 words. That's not too bad. What Ethan had just told him made Hawk's stomach churn even faster. Have to get us out of here before the same happens to us, he thought. How did you get down here, friend? Who are you? You still haven't told me your name. Hawk was about to tell him his real name, but something in his mind pierced through the fog of his thoughts for a second, and he remembered the warning his companions had given him about trust in strangers. His name is Jacob, he lied. Companions, put here. My companions and I were trying to join the League as we came from outside the city, and I've been provided shelter and succor. I think succor is actually. Oh yeah. Not really. But Charles, we were making our way through the tunnels for the marina, and all of a sudden we were ambushed by monsters that looked like snakes. The last thing I remember was being attacked. Then I woke up here. Silence fell once more. Hawk couldn't help but feel awkward in the lie, hoping that he hadn't said something that might have given their true nature away, true nature and purpose away. It's so much easier to think without this headache, he thought to himself. Felt his throat dry, felt his throat dry and his lips parched and cracking. He was so very thirsty. I have to say, it's hard to believe you, Jacob, if that is truly your name, said the voice. Hawk's stomach sank. I heard the voices outside this door when you, the lady and the man, were brought in here. Said you were wanted and that your capture was very important to them. Did you truly come here for the League, or was it because of something else? Who else? Who were the two of his group had been brought here with him? He wished they would say something. They would wake up and say something. He didn't think that they would camp here alongside him had they not been alive, but couldn't help but think the worst of this, of their status, especially since they had yet to wake up. Hawk took a pause to ponder the best reply to the stranger, trying to make his mind cooperate with him. At last, he winged it by saying, that's true. We've been running away from a Tallmark lord, seeking a safe passage to nearest. My sister and I are but poor fishermen, and our beauty has attracted the unwanted attention of one of his sons. One night the bastard tried to force himself onto her, and I had to stab him to get her away safely. Since then, we've been on the run and wanted throughout Tallmark. He didn't know if the story was convincing enough. Had he had time to think about it beforehand, he might have found a more suitable story. But using parts of what was actually true made his tone sound more assured, and Hawk felt more convinced. My name is Jacob, truly. Hawk lied, trying to make his tone as friendly and pained as possible, hoping the man would trust him. Jacob, the voice asked. I do apologize for prying, but you must understand, I do not know you, nor do I trust you. People outside have said that you were very dangerous and they'd be greatly rewarded by having captured you. Pause, and then after some time he continued. So there are more people. Hawk. Could they be listening in on us right now? He paused, and after some time, Ethan paused, and then after some time, he continued. Yes, it would make sense if you had hurt an important man such as that the region will look for you, and the reward would be great. But how can a fisherman warrant caution and be called very powerful? I don't know. Hawk and with a lower tone, hoping their conversation wouldn't be overheard. I am somewhat strong, true, but no more than any other fisherman I've met. Hawk lied, and pointing truth in his words. He knew fishermen to be extremely strong, regardless of their size. The man paused once more, knocked hope to convince Ethan, not only because he didn't want to be caught in a lie, but also because he needed the man on his side if they were to try and escape the cell. All right then. I apologize for not believing you, friend, he finally said, and not pulled free in Hawk's gut. I just wanted to make sure I could trust you. With a sigh of relief, Hawk tried to look around the room once more. Did you see anything from your side? Asked Ethan. It's hard to tell how wide the room was, as the sound carried differently in such a space, and the darkness didn't allow his eyes to see even a bit of his surroundings. Again, he wondered if he hadn't damaged his eyesight somehow, as even in the nights of the mansion he could still see the things in the dark, as long as his eyes adapted to it. Still, he had never been in a room without any light source, so he had hoped it was just a room that made it impossible to see. He also realized how dependent he had become on holding the power in such a situation. The lack of his heightened senses made him feel as if he were missing a limb. No, I can't tell at all, but I know the room is quite wide. When the guards come to bring us food, be able to see it too. Did you notice anything else in the room that we could use to escape? Hawk asked as he tried to pull on his manacles, test his strength against him. Without his power, it might have been easier for him to break his wrists and actually break free of them. Not much is here. There's a grate in one of the corners. I think it is used as a sluice. Why is it not? I think sluice is the right definition. No, define. Yeah, yeah, fine. I don't know why you're giving me that. Is it because I need to remove that? No. Oh, it's a sluice with a U. Aye. Okay, cool. But other than plates and cups we're given and ourselves, there isn't anything else in this room. I tell ya, the worst of it is the darkness. I'll be able to tell the day, the hour. At least now I have some company once more. Men began to sob. How are we supposed to eat or drink if we can't loosen our arms? Asked Hawk. Oh, I've only got my legs clasped in irons, but you, I believe they really don't want you to get free. I don't know how you'll eat. I don't think they're the type to spoon feed you. At least, you know, they want to keep you alive. Panic seeped into the man's voice once more. It's going to be okay, Ethan, Hawk said, trying to reassure them. Him, the man again. Will get us out of here. How much did we do? I think it's about 1,000 words, no? 1,100 words. That's not too bad. Okay, we'll leave it here. I think that's a as good place as any to pause. I don't know. I don't. I don't know if this conversation is kind of pointless. I think I'm just like a reader trying to understand it right now. Is it going to be pointless in the long run, or when the realization happens of the betrayal, is that going to be a oh shit moment? You know, so that's what I'm trying to achieve at the moment. I really don't know how this is going to translate at all. Could be good, could be shit. Don't think necessarily the chapter's too bad. It's just more there's not a lot of action. Just some tension here and there. And that's okay. But do people want to know more? That's the question. Do people want to know more about what's about to happen? And why? And it's a tricky one, this chapter. Okay, well, leave it there. Swap up. Oh, get up. We'll swap up. Stream. So start up. Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, blah blah blah. So, we shall start the stream, I guess, because then I can break up YouTube stream. So I'll start it real quick. And just get my ready for it. Get on it. I'll be right back.